If I wasn't reviewing this movie, I'd never have seen it. So I know the hill I have to climb to convince you to watch it. Oh, please watch it. It's so good. For all of you complaining that they don't make movies the way they used to, here's one. If you don't go and see it, Hollywood will be like, well, that's why we don't make them anymore. All right, so why didn't I want to see it in the first place? Well, the poster, that's not a great poster. The trailer was so boring, I couldn't even get through it. And as for Daisy Ridley, I want to like her. You know, I like the idea of Daisy Ridley, but so far she hasn't given me like a real reason to connect with her. I'm more moved by the photos and videos of little girls dressed as Ray, dressed as the character, and that they inspire her, than I am by the character herself. So that's one of the reasons I'm rooting for a Ray movie, for all the fans that have been able to I don't get it, but they've been able to connect with the character. And then on top of all that, from the director or co-director and writer of Pirates 5, no thank you. But it's slow right now. So I dragged myself to the press screening. I was like, I need content. And I had rock bottom expectations. In fact, before the movie started, I was on the phone with a friend complaining that I was stuck watching this movie. Several times during the day, I almost decided maybe I wouldn't go because I had other stuff I needed to do, personal stuff. But I went, and thank goodness I did, because this is an incredible movie. What a delightful surprise. And I am shocked that director Joachim Roning, hope for Tron 3, baby, and writer Jeff Nathanson, who's supposed to be doing the reboot, now I feel a little better about it. I can't believe these two guys were able to deliver a film on par with National Velvet. I tweeted that out after I saw the movie, and a few of you realized, who also love classic film, what an incredible compliment that is. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with National Velvet, you're lost. Go watch National Velvet. Maybe not so close to this movie because they're very similar, but wow, you should have seen National Velvet. But anyway, that's a movie that came out in 1944, and it starred a young Elizabeth Taylor as a girl who dreams of her horse. Well, first she wants a horse, and then when she gets the horse, she wants the horse to win the Grand National. She dreams big. And then there's Mickey Rooney playing a down-on-his-luck drifter who's also, it turns out, a jockey, sketchy dude, but he teaches her to race. Oh, it's a great film. The film was also famous, by the way, for Anne Revere's performance as Taylor's mother, and she won the Oscar for her work in the film. And when you see National Velvet, you'll be like, give that lady the Oscar. Now, this new movie doesn't have the Technicolor visuals of National Velvet. What a gorgeous film. But it has pretty much everything else that film has. And it's not that the visuals here aren't great, they just don't have that rich Technicolor feel, which is wonderful. Sometimes I'll just Google Technicolor movies because I want that sweet Technicolor fix. But this one's still very cozy. Not only does the movie remind me of National Velvet with a salt-of-the-earth family getting behind the young athlete that they have in their ranks, but it also reminds me of Disney's The Great Movie Ride with some of the scenes in 1920s New York. There's like this alleyway where the family lives and you can see up in the brick buildings and it feels just like that column, that area in The Great Movie Ride, which any fan of that ride, I miss it so much. I was there. I was there the last night, but you'll know exactly the corridor I'm speaking of. So yes, this is also a very Disney movie, the kind that Walt and Hollywood overall used to make. And again, that everybody says they miss until they got to pay to go and see it, and then they don't go. If you're the type of movie fan who enjoys Turner Classic Movies, I see you. I love that too. You will also really enjoy this movie. But good luck finding it. My goodness. I was telling everybody after I saw it, I was getting the word out. I was like, oh my God, it was actually great. And some of my friends were like, I want to see it too. And we were looking for screenings this weekend and we were like, that's not playing anywhere good, man. I mean, it's a semi-wide release. And even in the theaters it has managed to book, it's like on the tiniest screens possible. When you see how small the screen is, you're going to be like, well, might as well wait because I'm practically watching it on a TV right now. I mean, I understand that this movie, maybe you wouldn't think that it has a lot of demand. Again, it's very poorly advertised. But it sucks that it's not even getting a chance to prove itself. You know, like, is it a theatrical release or not? All right, Daisy Ridley, although I did see one large theater in New Jersey that hadn't booked a single ticket. It sucks. It's such a shame. Such a good movie. All right, Daisy Ridley is very, very, very good in the lead role. In fact, if she hadn't already run into a brick wall of angry Star Wars fans, you would think she had her whole career ahead of her after this movie. You're like, wow, who's this? And then you're like, oh, too bad she's got all that Star Wars hate weighing her down. That's another reason I want the Rey movie to succeed, because I think she's a very good actress, particularly here. She's from the UK, but here she's playing an American. So her American accent is very good. And I think makes her even more appealing. I think it just fits better with her look. And perhaps in some ways, it also makes her feel like a new actress here. You're like, you have to keep reminding yourself that it's Rey, which maybe will help counter that negativity. Maybe you will treat her like a new actress. My only problem with her casting, yes, there's a problem. And they originally were going to do Lily James. I'm like, what's all these British people playing this American athlete? And none of them is correct. Because as you can see, the real life Trudy Ederle was much more athletic. Clearly a physical force of nature. And when you see the physicality of female athletes who are able to compete at the level of men, I think that they are all done a disservice when Hollywood casts smaller size actresses to play them. I mean, you're not painting the full picture. And also, I think there's something about body image issues. I mean, this is what an incredible female athlete at the top of her game looks like. And that's what should be portrayed on screen. I felt the same way about Margot Robbie when she played Tonya Harding, although Tonya Harding, of course, a very good athlete, but a horrible sportsman. A criminal as well. But anyway, and while we have yet to see an actress portray Serena Williams as an adult, of course, there was that incredible King Richard movie, but I'm sure someday they will tell the Serena Williams story. And when they do, I hope they cast an actress who does all of her justice to really paint an accurate picture of just what a special and incredible and talented person that she is. All right, back to Ederle. I'd never heard of this woman before, but her story is extraordinary. There are so many interesting details to her quest to prove herself as a swimmer. And then, of course, the outcome is incredibly moving. But wow, she has some real lows. I really was like, this story was fantastic. I'm so glad that they salvaged it and put it out in the world. And I hope that people see it, witness it. I had tears in my eyes for many parts of this film. Now, I'm sure some of you are typing down below, not another girl boss movie. Look, of course there are feminist aspects to the film. It's a feminist type story, but it's a true story. It really happened, and it's an inspiring story. I would hope that anyone would be inspired by Ederle's journey. I mean, I'm inspired by guys' journeys. I mean, I think, I would hope that we could, that's what these stories and that's what good entertainment and storytelling does. It finds the common ground to bring us all close together, but also at the same time give us new experiences. But anyway, it's fantastic. But I do think that women of all ages will be particularly moved and invested. That her struggles are still relatable a century later. That's 100 years. Is both amazing and frustrating. It's like, Trudy, I'm from the future. We're barely doing better. On that note, Ederle's story also takes on a new meaning because women's professional sports seem to finally be getting some traction. And Ederle was there at the very beginning. You think it's bad now? Well, it's pretty much as bad as it is now, but it is bad. But it's fascinating to see women's sports just getting started. Now, as I said, Ederle got a lot of support from her family, who are extremely well cast here. Why this wasn't played up more in the ad campaign, I have no idea. What a stupid, it was just ridiculous not to do this. Like, how do you not let the world know that Kim Bodnia from Killing Eve is in your movie? It was a fantastic idea to cast him as Ederle's German immigrant father. And he has such a big role in the movie. He was great. I mean, it's not like a lead, but he's a full-on supporting. German actress Jeanette Hayne plays Ederle's mother, and her performance seems to me to be very much an homage to Revere's work back in National Velvet. Hayne herself is excellent here. It's a nice surprise, as I said, that both her parents have such a big part in the film. And Tilda Cobham Hervey also does a great job as Ederle's sister, who also starts out being interested in swimming. Very interesting to see their stories. It's such a joy to see a movie about a family that loves and supports each other. I mean, sure, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. They are an immigrant family in 1920s New York trying to make it. But bottom line, they are there for each other. And it was really great. It's also fantastic to see Sian Clifford from Fleabag as Ederle's swim coach. Yes, if you also enjoy British television, and again, who doesn't love these things? I don't understand you. You will love this movie, although this movie feels cinematic. You know, I've seen some comparisons to Netflix's Nyad, which came out last year, about another real-life swimmer, in that case, trying to prove herself not just as a woman, but a woman in her 60s. That movie, to me, I didn't like that movie. That movie, I like Jodie Foster in it. I was on a Jodie Foster high after watching True Detective. I was like, give me more Jodie Foster. But then I was like, not in this movie after all, because this is not good. And that movie to me seemed very small in scope and perfectly at home on Netflix. But this movie feels much bigger. This feels like a movie. I'm very glad I got to see it on the big screen. I mean, you could watch it down the line on digital or streaming, and please don't miss it. And you might have to because of how limited the release is. But I thought that it made for a very rewarding theatrical experience. It was such a treat. A few months ago, I also really enjoyed a film, The Boys in the Boat, but I didn't feel that that one needed to be seen in theaters. It felt more like a British television show specifically, you know, like a streaming project. But again, Young Woman in the Sea not only feels like a movie, but the kind of movie they used to make back in the 1940s and 50s. Maybe that's another reason that I have felt it was so cozy. It reminded me so much of the films I so have enjoyed on Turner Classic Movies, etc. Now, and you're like, you can't, like, can I duplicate that experience? And I was able to, thanks to this movie, you know, that viewing experience. It's funny, I saw Young Frankenstein, as I mentioned on Movie Math last week in theaters. They were playing it, and I also had a great time. I mean, these movies hold up. I think that, you know, some movies have a timeless feel, and Young Woman in the Sea definitely has that feel. This poster looks so bad. I'm sure that you are like, no way. But I'm telling you, forget the poster. Just go see the movie. There are some other recognizable British actors in here too, and I thought it was a really nice surprise to see them pop up out of nowhere. I was like, oh, look who it is. So I'd like you to have that experience as well, so I'm not going to tell you anybody else who's in the movie. Really, just a phenomenal film. If you cannot see it in theaters, I hope that you will check it out down the line on digital or eventually Disney Plus. In fact, it was originally going to be a Disney Plus movie, but test screenings were so strong, they decided to put it in a couple of theaters? What? I mean, again, are you putting it in theaters or not? I wish it was getting a proper release. But Trudy Ederle overcame a ton of obstacles in her life, and hopefully her story will be able to overcome this obstacle. I really hope that people see this. So that's my review of Young Woman in the Sea, hitting a couple of theaters, maybe one near you this Friday. Look for it. You will be rewarded. All right, share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.